Today's video, we're going over what I call the SOAP ads strategy. This exact Facebook ad strategy process is responsible for us having over 20 straight $100,000 to $200,000 months. It's responsible for one of our clients having their first ever $250,000 month, and it's responsible for another one of our clients who's an online coach having their first $400,000 month. So if you run Facebook ads, or you've been thinking about running Facebook ads for yourself in your online business, or you want to run them for somebody else, this is the strategy top to bottom that's going to help you get up and off the ground the quickest and all the way to where you're profitable. As always, guys, this is something you would have to pay a lot of money for somewhere else. You're going to get it absolutely for free here. And not only this, but every single week, I'm going to be dripping you guys strategies that you can create your digital empires without having to go somewhere else and paying the big bucks. So if this is a journey that you want to be on, if you want to know more and more about this, all you got to do, smash that subscribe button. Make sure you've got this turned on. Check in on the channel every now and then, and we'll be able to make this happen. So let's dive in. This is a cut up of a webinar I did with about 100 plus people on it, where we were teaching them the Facebook ad strategy that we were able to use successfully for a couple of years to absolutely crush 100, 200, and 400K months. So if you're ready, let's go in. All right, so today for the first agency foundations, we're going to go through the scary offer and SOAP ads process. The point of this is to help you stand out from your competition and attract high ticket agency clients. So I'm talking about the bigger ones, the ones that can actually afford to sustain you and hopefully in the future your team and other situations like that. Now, this is a very simple ads process that we still use quite frequently within our own agency and within our coaching programs to generate money. We actually just recently, over the last month or so, have generated about $80,000 off of about $8,000 in ad spend using this very simple process and by leveraging a scary offer at the front end of it. Okay, so we're going to dive into that. Now, what I do want to mention, guys, is that the full picture is not going to be covered in all of these trainings, right? If you want to be able to create a truly scalable agency, you guys all know, you've been around long enough, you know we have the full GSD program for that. And that covers traffic, sales, and systems, specifically paid traffic, organic traffic, offer, sales frameworks, role plays, follow-ups, SOPs from our own seven-figure agency, hiring processes, automations, and complete day training. Every single day we go live with the group, answer their questions on a bunch of different topics. But that's not going to be able to be gone over here today. But I do want you guys to understand that what we talk about here today is a very important piece to the picture, right? We're going over offer and paid, a little bit of both of these segments so that you guys can really start to get the traffic rolling. One thing that people pay too much attention to, I think, is their sales skills when they don't even have any sales calls to be closing in the first place. They pay too much attention to their traffic sources when they don't have an offer that's going to actually get any traffic to convert into leads for them. And so we have to make sure that we understand the full picture of a scalable agency to be able to actually hit the marks that we want to hit. All right, guys. If you don't build the right foundation, as in if you don't actually put the correct pieces into place, guys, you're going to be losing clients just as fast as you get them. You're never going to grow past your ceiling. You're never going to be confident in where your next conversation is actually going to come from. You're going to be stuck until you eventually burn out. But all of this, right, can be avoided by implementing the correct system, by having the rest of the pieces in place. And today we're going to start off by going over the offer, which is always going to be the core piece, guys. Okay, it's going to be the start of every successful marketing thing we do, not only for ourselves, but for our client. All right. And way too many of us actually spend 90% of the time trying to build people fancy automations, fancy funnels, graphics that look good, video ads. And we spend 90% of our time on that and 10% of the time on the thing that actually matters the most. And what we need to do psychologically is reverse that. Because the number one thing, no matter what, that's going to affect everything is what it is they can get from what you're offering. What is it that you're giving them? That has to connect them to them in an emotional way. It has to connect to them in words and language that they actually understand, and it has to be done correctly. Now, I really quickly am going to go through this, introducing ourselves, as in introducing Rahul, who's not here today. He had something that came up. Started his agency in 2004. Custom Creatives, co-founder of the GSD program, interviewed some of the best 7 to 8 figure marketers inside of the GSD group. And if you guys aren't in our group on Facebook, get in there, guys, because it's absolutely amazing. Worked with companies like Geico, Advertise.com, all kinds of shit, over 15 years of experience. I myself founded a digital agency in 2012. I've handled millions in ad spend and successful marketing campaigns for some of the biggest names around. Co-founder of the GSD Agency Accelerator Program, owner of multiple seven-figure businesses, and blah, blah, blah. But none of that really matters, guys. You guys are here because you already know who we are. What's important is what we can do today to grow together. So what I just said, I'm going to repeat again because I need you to understand why this is so important. 90% of the success of your campaigns, guys, is going to come down to the success of your offer. Stop worrying so much about making everything else pretty. Once you have the offer locked in, then all of the rest of it can move the needle more. But the pretty stuff won't matter if nobody gives a shit about what you're saying. And I need full stop, guys. That cannot be drilled home hard enough. If you come home with a strong, scary offer, you'll find that no matter what you do, organic or paid, will suddenly be 10 times as successful. If you take a really crappy landing page with really crappy offer or really crappy copy, and a strong offer, and then you take beautifully written copy and a great landing page and a weak ass offer, 10 times out of 10, the one with the strong offer is going to win. But if you take that one where you actually know the offer works and now apply the beautiful copy, the story, the hook story offer, the nice funnel, the good speed, the automation, all of that stuff, suddenly now you can make much more money using that. And once you have something where you want to go, it all starts with identifying your niche. All right. Now, guys, this is what I was talking to you guys before we started the presentation. Okay. Now, what a perfect niche consists of, it's an industry in which you have a proven track record of results, or that you believe you can learn how to get those good results for them. It's an industry which can afford to pay a high ticket retainer. That means that they themselves are often selling high ticket services. This usually comes down to forms like real estate, dentists, construction, HVAC. Those are common niches because they get high ticket customers, so that when you convert their marketing into a payment, they can cover your costs and also the costs of the retainer on the other end. But most importantly, and almost always overlooked, which is over here, is do you actually enjoy working with those people? Most people spend all their time thinking, can I get them results? Can they pay me money? They don't worry about if they actually enjoy it. But here's the thing. Once you start seeing a little bit of success, you start hitting levels, right? You run into ceilings. And those ceilings require you to work a little harder, invest a little more, stretch yourself a little thinner. And in order to do that, you need motivation, you need energy, you need the will to actually put that extra work in and kick ass. And if you wake up every day and the first thought in your brain is, I cannot believe I have to talk to these assholes again, I can't believe that this is how my day is going to go, then you're never going to have the motivation. It's going to be doing the opposite. It's going to be draining you of energy. And when you lose that energy, you can't crush your goals. You can't get to that next level, and you end up in the wrong place, in the reverse of where it is that you're trying to actually go. Pro tip, guys, align your business around the lifestyle you want to live. Why I say that is because everybody seems to think that they should hustle 24/7, work their ass off, chasing a goal that they might not even want. It's like the Joker says when he's chasing the Batman, right? I chase you, but if I ever caught you, I wouldn't even know what to do with it. And that's the point. Some of you don't even want the life that you're chasing. You just think that, a little bit of extra money, that little bit of month to month thing is going to make you happy. But take a minute and actually figure it out. Do you want to work with a specific type of person? Do you want to have a certain amount of freedom? Figure that out. Combine that with the niche that you're working with and see what you can actually come up with. Pro tip number 2, use a Dream 100 list to make sure you can truly build that audience. What we mean by the Dream 100 list is the Dream 100 audiences. So if you want to work with real estate or Cairo or contractors, go out and see, where do they hang out online? Where can I build my audience? Is it Facebook groups? Is there a shit ton of Facebook groups out there that have all these people in it? Is there a bunch of blogs that I can go on? Is there some Reddit corners? Is there some Quora? Is there some corners of the universe, of the internet, that I can go out and build that audience on? Because if there is, awesome. If there's not, you might need to rethink that as well. The perfect synergy is what comes from all three of these things. The perfect client comes from having proven results, high ticket business, and energizes you and motivates you to be able to actually get through the next ceiling. When you have the perfect client, that's the niche that you want. Now, once you know your market, once you understand the niche, all right, now you got to learn their language. In order to create an offer that you know resonates with people, You need to be able to speak in words that they actually know. Now, most marketers, and I swear everybody that we bring into the full program, we do an onboarding roadmap call with, I ask this question every time. What do they always say? They say, I generate opportunities, appointments, leads using Facebook, SEO, Google ads, all of that stuff. Very generic, very, very jargony, based around what we are proud of, because this is what we've spent our time learning. And you know what, man, all of you should be super proud of those skills, of that skill set that you acquire, right? Because that's what allows you to go out and get these results. Unfortunately, when you speak in that language, you don't differentiate yourself from everyone else that they're talking to. And it's not in language that emotionally resonates with them. I always like to bring up the headless mannequins from the department store, right? The department stores use headless mannequins because they want you to see yourself in the clothes. The concept in marketing goes that if they have heads on the mannequins, you see it as a thing, as a person, and you see the clothes on that doll, on that thing. But if there's no head on it, you can envision yourself wearing those clothes. And so the same thing applies in marketing. We want to use language, we want to use symbolism, we want to use images that actually resonate with the person that we're talking to. And so using things like leads and likes and traffic and Facebook ads and Google ads, that's words that really emotionally resonate with us because we've learned them. But it's not an end result that they actually understand. Now, if you see what's wrong with this is because you're using your language and not theirs. Now, what we do to get this research, all right, guys, and everyone on this call right now and everyone else that's watching it, make sure that you write these down. If you don't do customer research, you're not doing marketing, right? If we're making assumptions on what our market actually wants, then we're just planning to fail because we're just doing our own thing. We're planning based on our own emotions, our own reactions, our own stories. That won't work. What we need to do is get research, get the language from them. And ways to do that, guys, pay for an hour of somebody's time, take someone out to a research lunch. Existing clients, every time you get a new client or have had an old client or you offboard a client that you've had, make sure you get a survey through with them. Every single client and student that we ever bring on does an onboarding survey. One, so we can help them better, but two, so we can hear their language, so we can get them to use their own words to describe their problems, to describe why they actually came with us, to describe what it is that they need, what their biggest issue is, bottleneck, stuff that we can then build our marketing around in the future. And record your sales calls so that you can actually understand what are the common objections I'm getting. Go back through them and listen for what the common objections actually are so that you can solve those in the future. What we want to research with this customer language is their biggest pain points, their biggest desires, and what they've already tried. And then we want to implement industry goals and industry lingo into this. Are their biggest pain points that they don't have enough time with their family, can't focus on seeing people, can't work on weekends? I mean, it almost always comes down to health, wealth, and relationships. That's the motivation that we want to get. That's the pain points that they're trying to get after. If you can relate your copy, your content, your marketing, or your client's marketing to health, wealth, and relationships, make this much money, save this much time, become a healthier person, lose weight, those things that you see constantly on the internet, because everybody ends up back in those situations because that's what resonates with people the most. That's what gets people to stop with their goldfish brain on the internet, interact with you for more than 9 seconds, and actually take an action to get to know you and your business better. But you need to learn, what do they actually call their successes? They're not calling them leads, traffic, likes. They're calling them patients if they're a dentist or a medical person, roofs and installations. They're calling them clients. They're calling them listings. They're calling them stuff in their own words. So you want to know now, once you have those, cool, how many patients do they need? How many listings do you want? How many new jobs would you like to make your life better? Because at the end of the day, they're doing the marketing to get that end result. All of the nuts and bolts that you talk to and you focus on, that's the stuff that gets them to the end result they actually care about. Now, when a couple of our students came to us and started to understand these principles, they were able to finally see the path to their dream business, right? And you can see, I always like to tell these stories through the eyes of students who have actually used these methods to see success, so that you guys can see in relation how it actually works when you implement this kind of stuff. Now that they actually knew what to say, they needed to restructure their offer. Now, what I mean by this is that what they were doing and what most young agencies do is custom work, and they're yes men. And custom work is where you need to come up with a brand new package of cobbled together services every single time you have a new client. It's because you've become a yes man for every whim of your client. It's because you've lost control of being the expert in the situation and you're allowing them to control what you do. So in a sense, you've become more of an employee to their ideas than actually being the marketing expert you should be hired for. The issue that arises here is that you can only stretch yourself so thin. And it's really, really hard to hire and delegate off tasks like that because every single situation is completely different. And so when you go to build an SOP, when you go to build a system, it's complicated, it's almost useless, it's not duplicatable, and you can't count on the quality of the work, which is exactly the purpose of an SOP, which is to offload it and actually count on the quality of the work. And while these can work great for the client, and not always, by the way, but while they can work great for the client, they take up huge amounts of your time and effort and absolutely require you to do them. What a productized offer is the flip side of that coin. It's the thing that we actually want. In fact, it's one of the basic foundational principles to having an actual stable, scalable agency. Because when you have a repeatable process, and that's what this is, a repeatable offer that contains the same proven assets for every client. A productized offer needs to contain three things: proven result in multiple markets. That means leads, sales, and ROAS you can count on. Yes, it might fluctuate. If I run a real estate ad in SoCal and then I run another one in Detroit, yeah, the lead costs are going to be different. But you're going to understand the range of it because you're using similar tactics, similar ads, similar strategy in each of these markets. You're going to understand the ranges you should be shooting for. And if you start to fall out of that range, you know where to get back to. And so that allows you to consistently be testing something and improving it as a process and as a business. That's what gets you ahead of the competition. That's what allows you to start making bigger and bigger promises. It includes pre-made, ready-to-go assets. That means ads, lead magnets, landing pages, funnels, follow-up. Sometimes what the things say on them change. Sometimes what they look like change a little bit, but the basic structure and strategy behind all of it should be exactly the same. If that remains the same, then it allows you to have testable variables for each portion of it and allows you to go out there and absolutely kick ass. And then finally, an obvious end result for the client, which makes it easy for you to sell. But more importantly, when it comes time to scale, it makes it easy for your sales teams to sell. And that's how you're going to attract top-end talent to be able to scale that business. Do this the right way and you can delegate the process and count on the quality of the end result, which will allow you to finally scale up that business. So then it comes the Einstein Principle, all right? And that basically is just making it simple. Because if you can't explain it simply, you do not understand it well enough. This is, and I know a lot of you guys on here right now don't have a sales team, but this is the most important thing in the future when you're looking to scale up and build a business is the Einstein Principle. You do not want your sales team to have to explain how to create a successful campaign and how to actually, do media buying and testing and Google ads and Facebook ads and blah. That's going to ruin everything. What you want is for them to understand an end result that they are selling. This is what we do. This is what the delivery team does. And it's promised. It's guaranteed. It's what you're going to get. They can have a basic understanding of what it all is, but they only need to be pushing that one concept. Telling people you run Facebook ads to get them traffic and leads sounds great to you, but it doesn't connect with the audience, right? And it might sound like I'm a broken record, but this is important. The reason I repeat things, guys, is because this is what's going to really move the needle for you. Using the language you've now learned to express the productized service you've now learned through the lens of an end result you can create, that's the scary offer. So again, guys, using the language you've learned through the customer research to express the productized service you've now created, a repeatable offer that contains the same proven assets for every client through the lens of an end result that you know you can create. That's the scary offer. It's a big, can't say no promise anchored by end results. It's easy to understand the promise. And the easier that is, the easier it is to use it to fill your calendar and close deals. The beautiful thing about this, guys, is we're talking about organic, we're talking about paid traffic, anything that you want to use, it has to come down to having this first settled. Creates risk reversal. And if it scares you to make it, then it scares the competition too. And that's the whole point. Why it's called the scary offer is because I want it, as it comes out of your mouth, to be inducing fear. I want it to cause imposter syndrome. because that'll make you work harder to figure out how to make that happen. That's going to be the motivation that you get to go out and actually build a business, because you need to stand out in a red ocean. And let's not kid ourselves, guys. There's no blue oceans anymore. You might think that there is, but trust me, there's not. Everybody has competition. And so you need to learn to stand above that competition by creating a truly strong offer. So one more time, guys, a big end result. And Dave's getting so far ahead of me, Dave. There's examples coming right on that next slide, my friend. One more slide. A big end result using the language of your client plus risk reversal equals a winning front-facing scary offers. And let's look at some examples right here for you guys right here. Let's look at some examples and see why they work. All right. So we got a few on here and they're very similar, right? They're very similar looking, but real estate, get 25 guaranteed booked appointments in the next 30 days or we give you your money back. We guarantee a closing or we work with you for free. Now, oftentimes these ones you'll see and you'll say, how can they guarantee a closing, Cody? Because how do you do that? Now you're trusting the realtor to even tell you, and you're doing this and you're doing that. And I'll tell you a little secret, guys. Most of these ones like this are going to be longer term offers. We're talking about when they get on the phone, it's a 6-month offer, a 12-month offer. And they have a clearly laid out battle plan with the client so that if in the first month they don't have absolutely extraordinary numbers, but they can show the client that they've made momentum, they've taken steps towards the goal, they can still see success and they won't get fired as quickly as some of the other people doing more month-to-month transactional types of offers. And so in that way, both of these are really strong, but this one is a longer term play. And this one is more of a transactional type of offer where you can end up with your client. 25 new patients in the next 30 days or we give you your money back. 10 new jobs every month or we work for free. Right? You can see how these work out. You can see how these are now using language, members, patients, jobs, closings. This is how you speak to your potential clients in their language. And so we've had students for contractors guarantee 6-figure return, right? And that's their version of the guaranteed closing for real estate. Guarantee you'll make $100,000, but it's a 12-month contract. It's a 6-month contract because they've done it with a bunch of people and now they're going to do it with a bigger promise. You have to follow these rules. If you don't, it voids the contract. The worst of those rules are you have to use our follow-up process, our ISAs, our ads. You can't rewrite anything because we know this works. And so because we have assets, pre-made proven assets and proven results in multiple markets, we know we can make these promises, these big promises, these big offers that work. And you take these offers and you plaster them on your social, on your ads, on your organic, all of it. Does that make sense? Dave and I, everyone, how are we promising so big if we're just starting? Well, it helps to be able to have leadership along the way, Ayush. One thing that we do inside the full GST program is we actually have ads calls and we help write, launch, and manage your clients' ads for you on those Friday calls so that you can make sure you're absolutely crushing it. So if you're not confident in those, it's good to get a little bit more fulfillment training or to make sure that you can get that along the way. But it really all comes down to knowing your KPIs, right? And so if we do a little exercise here, if we're in real estate, I believe was what you said your niche was, correct? You can come off mute if you want, Ayush. Was it real estate you were working with?
Yeah, I was trying to figure out if I can be good with it.
Perfect. So let's do it this way, right? So if we do a little exercise here, if we say that you should be getting leads for anywhere from $1 to $5, really realistically in real estate, if you have any of the ads, right? Let's say the average of that is 3, right? And so we do this. So we say, if we're going to charge people $1,000, just keep it simple. And half of that, we'll say so that means for every $100 of the 1,000 we put into this, we get, 30 leads? So if we do $300 of this, just to keep it easy, $300 in ad spend, right? You're going to get 300 leads.
It will be 100.
No, wait, sorry, 100 leads. Yeah, my bad. 100 leads, right? And so then if you have ISAs on this, you should be getting an 8 to 12% booked call rate, meaning worst case scenario, 8 calls per $300, right? And so you see how that works out. Now, if you know these KPIs, and you need to know these KPIs for what you're doing, now you can say, If I do that for $300, I'd have a 70% margin, right? Or I could double it and just take the $400 in profit, and I could promise 16 book calls. You could probably, based on this, it should be 8 to 12, and you should know it should be 1 to 5. You should be able to promise 10 booked appointments for that every single month as your guarantee. And you should be able to hit that 90% of the time, which means 10% of the time you'll have to spend more ad spend and your margins will go down. But other times you'll be able to hit that every single time. And this is well within the range that you want to make sure so that you can actually make that. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So now, if you make a bigger one, right? If you wanted to say you wanted to do 30 booked appointments, right? Then you'd multiply that by 3, and your price point will be 3,000 a month. And so that's how you end up at your price points. And so the reason why on here, right, there's no price points, because you're not telling them price points. You're just using this to start a conversation. You're getting people to raise their hand and say, hey, I do want to work with you. Then you have your KPIs there. You know what you need to do for your numbers, and you move through it that way. Does that make sense?
Yeah, totally. So how, suppose I'm charging like 1,500 to some person, so ad spend will go out of my pocket, right?
Correct. Now that you know your KPIs, you know what you need to get to whatever promise you're making. So you figure that out, and then you charge based on that.
So I have to use my ads account or client's ads account for that.
That's up to you. We use what we call Hive accounts. So we have multiple realtors in the same account so that we're building data on them. But that's because we have so many. You'll reach a maximum, and if you're using singular accounts all over the place, it'll become a mess. But we do have students that use individual client ad accounts for what they run. It's really up to you. So, and then Dave's asking, what's an ISA? An ISA is an internal sales agent. So as you generate leads for certain types of clients, you can have an ISA, which you can usually hire for $750 a month or $500 a month, depending on the country that you hire them from, that will call the leads, qualify the leads, and then book them into your client's appointment calendar so that you don't have to count on your client actually calling all the leads and doing all the successful stuff themselves. You can also charge a premium for that, which allows you to have an even better service. Does that make sense, Dave?
What about messenger bots, using messenger bots to qualify?
We do. We have messenger bots that we have inside the program that allow you to not have to have an ISA. They're just not as reliable as an ISA, so your booking rates won't be as good.
So we can use that, right, to book calls as well?
Yep, 100%. Cool, guys. Now, by creating and implementing this scary offer, right, Cam and Casey were able to start attracting and closing dream clients, $24,000 contracts for their 12-month offer, which was the guaranteed closing, right? So you can see that they're starting to get those 12-month contracts and being able to put that to use. Now that they had that, it was time to put it to use even better, right? Which was through the scary offer application process. So now that we have the scary offer, all of that was just to get to right here. Right. And that's so that we put it in an ad. Now, what the scary offer application process is, simply put, is an ad that doesn't require any sort of actual complicated funnel automation, any of that. It's simply taking what you've just learned to create, which is a scary offer, and implementing it in a very simple way to be able to get all the way to the sale. You do that through an ad leveraging just the offer. You get the lead through the lead form on Facebook. You send what we call an asshole text, which I'm going to show you in a second, get the appointment, and make the sale. Starts with the sexy offer application. So this is right here, a SOAP ad. So this is a longer form one. You guys can create shorter ones, but literally here is it for a realtor using 30 appointments guaranteed every month. We make it rain for your business. 30 guaranteed appointments with real buyers or your money back. And we tell it through the story of basically the story I just told you, how they're sick of marketers giving them the same old crap, fake numbers, bounced emails, all of this stuff. We use some social proof down below, and we simply hit them with the scary offer that we've just gone through how to build. Simple ad, straight to the point, leveraging the offer itself. After that, it goes directly to just the lead form. No complicated funnel, nothing on the back end. Pops up, it repeats the offer, and then you just get their basic information, phone, email, name. No overcomplicated qualifying questions. This type of process is all about getting as much data and input as we can at the top of the funnel so that we can then contact as many people in our niche as we can who are interested in that offer, who are interested in taking that to the next level. Once that's done, there's a Calendly survey on the thank you page. And that, when they go to book their call, has the survey. So now that we have their lead information, then we go for the survey. Then they can book a call here. Second, we send out the asshole text. Now, what the asshole text is a simple process of simply texting out the offer to them. Hey, this is Ben with the GSD team. Wanted to reach out and confirm you're interested in our guarantee. Yes? Or, hey, this is Ben with the RRM Real Estate Rainmakers. Just wanted to text you and confirm you were looking for our 30 guaranteed appointments every month guarantee. Yes? And as soon as they text back, and you guys can tell this is through the Go High Level system for you guys that are talking about that. And Mario, this is a lead form ad. Simple, directly in Facebook, makes it easier to put it all together. That's the whole point of this, is just to keep it as simple as possible. Call them and you book the appointment. This person's booked an appointment, cool. The sales team calls them and closes the deal. This person's filled in the lead form but hasn't booked an appointment or responded to the text, call them anyway and book the appointment. The point is to get to them in as many ways as possible, get them to be engaged, active, and responsive, and bring that home. Make that deal. Target your Dream 100, all right? So for targeting for these ads, there's simple ways to do it. Once you've been in a niche a whole bunch, you start getting ads from those people. People targeting realtors, people targeting dentists, people targeting gyms and fitness, whatever it is you're targeting. As you click on those pages and you go through that stuff, you'll start to see ads targeted to you. If you click on the three little dots up here on the ad, there will be a why am I seeing this ad section. Inside of that, it'll show you the interests relating to that ad. That was the reason for why you were targeting. On top of that, you can click on the My Interests button right below it to see a whole bunch of interests that you have attached to your profile that you can also leverage. Next, you want to create that Dream 100, meaning all of the influencers in your space that have already built an audience for you. If you're targeting real estate, you've got the Tom Ferrys of the world. If you're targeting coaches, you've got Russell Brunson. If you're targeting fitness, you've got all the fitness people in the world, investors, right? There's influencers who have pre-built audiences for you. And you can go and actually use those audiences as an interest in your ads and crush it. Most importantly, don't give up early on the ads process. I find it funny that most marketers are actually way harder on their own ad campaigns than they are on their clients. In fact, they break all of their own rules. Where they would tell the client to keep pushing through because we need to optimize, they shut it off because they think the lead cost is too high. And so it really is just about making sure that you push through. Just because it doesn't print money immediately doesn't mean you need to pull the plug. The number one reason agencies fail because they're far more sensitive about it themselves and they pull the plug way too early instead of giving the platform the time it needs to optimize. The truth is you guys don't have to have the best ad that looks the best around because nobody gives a shit. All they want to know is what it is you can do for them. What it is the end result is that you can get for them. Make a sexy, scary offer in their language that is absolutely irresistible and you will win every single time. Bonnie, I appreciate you. Thank you so much. We'll see you on the next one. And once these guys did it, they were able to actually get out there and scale their business to what they were always looking for, closing multiple contracts, including the one that we showed you before, $78,000 in total in contracts in just 60 days by leveraging these exact methods and putting them to use in a way that made sense for them. When our students implement these strategies, it's helped them all build their dream companies so that they can finally scale their agency and crush that shit. Now, by bringing it all together, guys, everybody out there right now and everybody on this live, you can actually join them. All right. Now, this is a little slither of it, paid and offer. But when you bring it all together with organic, paid, frameworks for sales, follow-up processes, systems, hiring, fulfillment training, you can hit these numbers as well. You can build your dream business.
Thank you so much for spending the time to watch that amazing training. Like I mentioned previously, my intention is for you not just to watch that training, but if you got something out of it, if you think this information is useful, I want you to continue that journey with us. And you can do that in a couple of ways. One, I want you to smash that subscribe button so that you get notified every single time we put another one of these out, which will be at minimum once to twice per week. The other thing I want you to do is go ahead and click that next video right there beside you so that you can dive in and get shit done. Hope to see you out there.